Hey guys, how we doing? We're here again. Another episode of MMAFightPass.com. Today we're here in Farmersville, California at the Team KO Training Center. I'm here with Danny Valadinos, Juan Pato Jimenez, and Martin Gomez. And there's the bell. You know we're at a fight gym. How are we doing today, guys?
Good.
Doing good.
Guys, before we get the show started, one of our partners of the podcast, he's unable to make it with us the last few shows. Chris Ronquillo, we want to give a shout out to Chris. We hope you a speedy recovery, Chris. We hope you start to feel better. And I know everybody here knows Chris from way back in the day. And Chris is one of the main guys that helped us get this podcast going. So everybody out there, wish Chris a speedy recovery. You know Chris Ronquillo, right?
Yeah. Get better, Chris. Need you back here, buddy.
Yeah, Chris.
Yeah, hopefully everything you get better and everything back over here.
We miss you, Chris. Guys, tonight we have not only we have the fighters here that are competing, we have Danny Valadinos. He's the owner of the gym, right? You and your brother. So, give it a pause. You're gonna edit it, right? We're live? Okay. I'll make mistakes from time to time, guys. Juan, this last weekend fought in 559 fights here in Visalia, California, right? At the convention center?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that experience.
It was a good experience. I've been retired for over 7 years and said I was going to come back to it and just never did, and I finally decided to come back.
Now, the 559 fights, guys, it's an MMA show, and recently Jeremy Luchow, he's added in professional grappling belts. Now, I know you had fought MMA in the beginning of your career, but what made you decide to go into a grappling match like this?
Well, this summer I've been grappling all summer, wrestling at local tournaments and at the state tournaments, and I just wanted to keep it going.
What do you think about the training, Dan?
You know what? I'm very proud of my compa right here. He put in a lot of hard work. He dropped 45 pounds for this, and for a while there he doubted himself for a little bit, but honestly, if I didn't think he could win, I would have told him straight out, hey, you know what, don't do it, you're not going to win. But even though there was a little bit of doubters that thought he couldn't, win that match, hey, I knew he could do it. It was just all up to him, man. Yeah, you got your black belts, you got your purple belts, but you know what? There's a lot of white belts out there, or people that have no belts that are actually better than some of these purple belts and brown belts out there, the belts, yeah, they're nice, but it's not everything, and he proved that day, and I'm proud of him,
Yeah, they gave me the match, and I took it without looking him up. And then usually when I have fights, I never look up the guy because I don't want it to get in my head. But this time I looked him up, and I found out he was a purple belt, and he was a world champion jiu-jitsu in gi. So that got in my head for a little bit. Then I'd go cross-train at Trifecta and get dominated there, and I'd come home, and my wife knew that something was wrong with me, and it would just get in my head, and I set myself a goal, like next week when I go back over there, don't get tapped out. And I would go back, and I would set goals, and I would meet them. And by the time it came, I was already confident that I had this guy.
I like that, man. I like everything you're saying. And I've known you guys for years, and when I heard that you were going to be doing this match, and it was going to be against a higher belt for one, and it's a different game for you because I know most of your life you've done wrestling.
Yeah.
And I watch you teach wrestling, and I know you're a good wrestler, but stepping into a jiu-jitsu match is quite different. How does it differ from a straight wrestling match?
Well, I kept it the same as a wrestling match. It was no gi, so pretty much he had the technique, but the heart I knew I had, and the cardio I already knew I had him. I was gonna, right when the bell rang, I was gonna go after him and tire him out. And in the warm-up rooms, I seen that he wasn't taking me serious because he knew I was a white belt with really not that much jiu-jitsu.
It's crazy, man, getting out there. When you get in that cage, whether it's grappling or a fight, right?
Yeah.
What a trip.
It was.
Martin, can you get in? Is Martin in the picture good? Martin Gomez, you've been around these guys, this gym forever. I don't know how many years it's been since I came out and met you guys. What would you say?
Man,
it's been a long time. But since the time that I've known Danny and these guys, Juan for one, Martin, and there's a few other guys. They've been loyal to this gym like to a T. There's been a lot of guys that have came in and went, and some stay and some go. But these guys, like through thick and thin, it's you don't get that everywhere. And like a lot of the kids I grew up with, you guys kind of remind me of that. You know, I grew up on the north side of town, and I was probably one of 3 white dudes in the neighborhood. So like when I met Danny and Johnny, and the way that they approached me, like it seemed like we clicked off right away. And I had never even grown up with these guys, but we shared something in common with the fights, and I don't know, we just clicked up right away. And me too. I've come and went because I've different things in life and different goals that I've came across. But every time I come back out to this gym, it's one thing I really respect about you guys is these guys have always stayed like right there for each other. And I know, like, I can just see it. Like you remind me of some of my friends. Like if this guy was to call you in the middle of the night and say he was getting jumped, you would be there in a heartbeat. Right. You guys are really there for each other. Right. That's just one example. But so when we went to this last fight, I'd seen Juan fight years back when I fought my first cage fights up in Porterville, right? Yeah. And I didn't know these guys, but man, I could see, like, dude, these dudes are game. Like, they don't have all the skill and the technique and the Muay Thai and the Jiu-Jitsu, but they're going out there and they're throwing down. And that dude better be ready to throw down because you guys are throwing down. But so, anyhow, man, I got a lot of respect for you guys. I really, really have a lot of respect for you guys. And Martin, he's another one that's been around the whole time. And you've had quite a road here, man. Like, this has really been it's a trippy life, dude. This kind of lifestyle is a real trip.
Oh yeah.
Tell us a little bit about how you met Danny and Juan and what brought you into this gym.
Well, when I first came, it was I was only, I think, 19. Yeah, I was 19. Now I'm 24. I was here for a while, and I don't know. When I first met them, I was big. I weighed around like almost 200 pounds. And when I started just training here, and then I started meeting all the guys, and after a while, I went to my first fight with Alex Valencia, and I seen his first fight, and I just fell in love with it after that. And after that, I asked Danny if I could just start training, and I wanted to fight. He said, "Give me 1 good year," and a year. 1 good year of just pure fighting, and I never fought in my life. I was nervous.
Never done any street fights?
No street fights. No, nothing with fighting. I didn't like fighting. I didn't like wrestling. I didn't like jiu-jitsu. I didn't like nothing. And I just fell in love with it after my first fight, seeing my own teammates fight, and
it's really something.
Yeah, he told me, "I'll give you 1 year," and so the whole year I started training hard. I started losing all the weight. I lost a lot of weight. I got down to 155 from 225. And after that, after 1 year passed, he's all like, "All right, you'll get your first fight." Well, I didn't make weight my first fight, so I had to drop out of that fight. My second fight, I made weight. I did everything. I was so nervous. I didn't know what was gonna happen, and I won that fight. So after I won that fight, I just knew that I fell in love with it, and I couldn't stop. And
now, when me and Juan started fighting back in the day, there was no type of amateur show, right? Like
No.
The first fight that we did, it wasn't for a lot of money, but I think I remember it was like $300 to win and $100 to lose. But I don't think any of us were really fighting for that money. It was just getting inside and doing it. Are you guys all from? I know you live here in Farmersville, but are you guys from, like, born and raised in Farmersville, or where are you guys from?
I was born and raised. I was born in Exeter, and I was raised here in Farmersville.
And what about you, Dan?
Same thing.
Same thing. And Martin?
I was born in Fresno, California, but I was raised mostly here in the Central Valley, everywhere.
So Farmersville, I mean, as the show grows, right now we're pretty local, but as the show's growing rapidly, a lot of you guys probably have no idea where Farmersville's at. We're here in the Central Valley, close to Fresno, a town called Visalia, but Farmersville, it's starting to get more popular and popular, and man, there's a lot of really good, tough fighters that have came out of Farmersville. Give us a little history about Farmersville and what you like about it.
Farmers are more like a family community. It's like everybody pretty much looks out for each other, you know. Everybody knows everybody here in town, and Farmersville's growing a lot too. It's improving. It's not like back in the day when people used to talk bad about Farmersville. It's cleaned up a lot. It's a growing community, and it's improving, and it's got a good future. There's a lot of stuff coming into town pretty soon. There's gonna be a lot of changes, a lot of new construction, a lot of new business coming in. So it's got a good, bright future. And we got a lot of good athletes out there. That's why pretty much I started to, well, my goal eventually is to offer everything for free here. I've never been in it for the money. Everybody that knows me knows I'm not here for the money, man. I'm not going to close the doors to anybody. And
that's what I love about you guys, man.
What I love about my compa, he joined in on the team with me. He's helping me with the kids programs also, you know. We want to offer every kid program that we have here eventually for free. We do pretty much everything for free now. Like summer program, you helped me this year with the Jiu-Jitsu kids, you know.
Man, it was an honor.
You know.
It was an honor.
This summer we offered a fitness program, a boxing program, a wrestling program, a Jiu-Jitsu, MMA program for kids for free. We're going to continue doing it every year, you know. Every year we're going to continue doing it. And right now, every year we've been doing a freestyle wrestling program for free also, and we're going to keep doing it as long as we can. We have a lot of support from people. We have sponsors that help us out, and you know, we're going to keep doing it as long as we could do it. We're going to keep doing it, you know. And that's our main goal, is provide everything for free here for the kids.
I love that, man. I love it. This gym, we'll give you guys a look around in the gym. It's a small little spot, and one thing that these guys are doing is, he just said it right there, and there's a lot of gyms around here. There's a lot of gyms in the whole Central Valley. I don't think any of them are offering these free programs for kids. Everybody's in it for a buck. This guy keeps this place open on his own dollar, and I see a lot of kids come and go, and it seems like now you guys are really building up a lot of kids. You got a boxing ring out there, and what's going on with these kids? I'm seeing you guys putting videos every day of these kids out there throwing
these
down.
Kids are hungry. These kids work hard, man. I mean, it keeps them busy, you know. I do it pretty much just to keep them off the streets from getting into trouble, you know. A lot of kids, there's a lot of kids with talent, you know, but a lot of kids can't showcase talent because a lot of these businesses, if you don't pay, you can't train, you know. And that's what I'm about. That's what I'm about, you know. And I want to give them an opportunity to flourish and become something, you know, in the sport, you know.
I see those kids, and man, dude, if some of those, just one or two of those kids sticks with it until they're Martin or Juan's age, good Lord, going to be something else. So Juan, after that grappling match and hearing that crowd go off, there was a lot of people in the crowd for you over there the other night.
Yeah, we sold over 70 tickets for the grappling match.
And not just the 70 tickets you sold, that crowd really went loud when you went out there. It was the first match of the evening, right?
Yeah.
So after getting back in there with the grappling match like that, what's the plan? Are you thinking about going back into MMA?
Yeah, I'm going to do another grappling match, hopefully February at Valley Fight Series. And if there was local professional fights around here, I'd fight for free. But if not, if I want to fight professional, I have to travel. Maybe in the summertime.
Oh, about going pro, or
what's the deal with you? I know you fight in the cage and you got a little record going so far.
Yeah, right now.
MMA's your main thing more than grappling?
Well, I'm gonna do a grappling match soon, hopefully. And it's still in the talks about it. And for MMA, I'll be coming back 2020 stronger, faster, and way better than I was this year. So I took a break from my last fight in May. This whole entire rest of the year, but 2020 I'll be making up a lot more fights, and so you guys will see me more in fight cards and more Team KO.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool. When I talk to you and hang out with you, man, you're just you wouldn't strike probably the average person as a cage fighter. You're real chill. You're a nice guy and you're funny, and but yeah, and you get in there and you're a beast, dude. So.
Oh yeah, it's just like a trigger. It just switches me. Once you're in the cage, it's like locking two dogs in there, you know. So it just changes your attitude.
What about you, Dan? When you got into this business, or I call it a business, was it more just like a side hobby for you? When I very first met you guys, and you had the little group of guys that were going around and fighting in these shows.
Pretty much, it just started. How it started was in my backyard with a couple of kids. They wanted to do a little bit of basic boxing. And all right, you know what? And then from there, it blew up, and I never expected it to get this far. And I was like, you know what? Maybe we could do something with it. And there was always these naysayers, these doubters, the haters. Oh, they're not gonna do nothing. But you know what? It's funny now because a lot of these people, they say we couldn't make it. We're one of the last ones standing here. Yeah, we got all these new schools and people that came in, but we were here way before them, you know. And from there, it went from the backyard, it went to the garage, it went to my old place that I had not too far from here to this place, you know. I mean, we're not going nowhere. We've been here KO's been around for 14, 15 years now, you know. So, I mean, backyard started way longer, but you know what? We didn't officially establish KO until we started moving into our spots, you know. But since backyard, we've been around for like 20 years now, you know, KO. And we were crowning champions from the backyard. Up and comers,
my pro
NorCal
fight.
championships. We used to go everywhere.
You guys were traveling up and down
Vegas,
California?
Yeah. Los Angeles, San Francisco, we were going everywhere,
When you were going to those shows, did they have amateurs on those
Amateur
places?
shows,
Oh, they
pro
did?
shows, they were pro-am shows, amateur shows.
Hey, and back then to get when we fought in those professional shows, or you did one, you didn't really have to get a license or anything, right?
No license. I remember my first day going to train. I was gonna try out for the Exeter freestyle team, and I showed up on the wrong day. So I was walking back, and I passed by this gym in Exeter, Samurai Dojo, and I walked in there.
Dojo.
Yeah, and I talked to Scott Harper, and I told him that I was interested in fighting, and he told me maybe 6 months to a year I would get a fight. And I think 4 weeks into training, I had my first professional fight at 185s at Eagle Mountain, and I went in there just pretty much off the streets. And
Didn't you do a leg lock on somebody up there? Was that you?
no.
How did you win that fight? I remember being up there. It was Gladiator Challenge, right?
Yeah, it was a decision against Luke Davis. Then the second time went up there, I was more prepared. I started training at KO, and I ended up fighting JC Lamas, a black belt, the leg lock monster they call him, and I ended up beating him too. And that's pretty much where we're at right now.
That's a good place to be.
He's come a long way. I remember his first fight. I was there at cage side. I was doing a article. I think I was working with Chris Ronquillo, if I believe.
Yeah.
That was right back in the day.
Chris Ronquillo.
I ended up gassing out, but I ended up finishing the fight and winning. But that was probably the scariest time I ever had in my life, was gassing out in the cage.
Oh yeah, that's a feeling
Yeah.
that, man, most people will never experience that feeling. Have you ever been there, Martin?
Where?
To the point in the cage where you're just completely gassed out, but you know you have to keep going?
Oh no, no. My cardio is really good. My tank is really good. Like,
One thing I'm gonna say is,
Got that premium?
if a fighter loses because he gets out, I can't deal with that, man. If you're gonna lose because you got beat by actual better fighter than you. He was just a better man that day. But if you lose because you gas out and you cower out in the fight because you get tired, that's a no-no, man. Don't.
That's
I
a
don't
no-no
like,
here?
I don't like people like that. Don't waste my
I
time.
can tell by
on
the
that.
look on your guys'
Yeah.
face.
I won my fight. I gassed out though.
But you keep pushing on though.
Yeah.
That grappling match you were just in there tonight, looked like both you guys were pretty tired, but
No, I felt good after the 8 minutes was over. That was pretty quick, and that was probably the first time in my whole life I went in there with no nerves, confident, and I was ready to go.
what do you think about that? Are they going to call you back out there for another one of those grappling matches, or what's going to go? What do you think is going to happen with that?
They're probably gonna give me another purple belt.
What about that fight, the Fight to Win show that's coming around? You guys watch that? Have you been in?
Oh,
any of
yeah.
those
I haven't
events?
been to it, but I'm interested in anything.
I think the Fight to Win is a really good platform. Have you been to any of the shows
No,
now?
I've just watched them when you guys.
Yeah, me and Archie have been
Came up.
going to the Fight to Win. It's the promoter's name is Seth Daniels, I believe. Yeah, Seth Daniels, and he's putting the show on. He's going and he's traveling all over. But man, for the Central Valley, any of these schools can get in on it, and I love it, man, because jiu-jitsu and combat grappling and the MMA scene has grown tremendously, right? How much has it grown since we started? It's huge now. It's
There-
all over. I'd be interested if I could actually see like a map with all the schools that are in the Central Valley. There's way more than what there used to be.
Man, I remember when you used to have the box back then. There was only a handful of schools back
Maybe
then.
6.
Now there's like, woo.
They're all over the place,
They're in
especially
every corner
jiu-jitsu.
now.
Especially jiu-jitsu. So with Seth Daniels coming around with the Fight to Win show, it's giving like jiu-jitsu guys a little platform. It looks a little more professional with the lights and the music and everything that they got going with that. It's coming up soon. Do you ever think that you might get into something like that?
Yeah, whichever. I'm willing to do anything, compete. If it's around here, I'll do it. Doesn't matter who.
Now, Dan, talk a little bit about this professional show that's coming up this weekend, because I know you guys are paying attention to everything. Combates Americanas, am I saying that right?
Combate Americas.
Combate Americas. Now, you guys have obviously been watching it. What are you thinking about that? Have you had any guys in there yet, or is that the plan in the future?
That's the plan in the future. Yeah,
Is
that's for
is
sure.
that show pretty legit compared to the ones we've had in the past here?
You know what? I like the way they run it. It's a good event. I've watched almost all their shows they've had there, and then Martin's going to be there watching the fights this weekend too. So.
And that's
I
tomorrow
like that
night,
show.
right?
Tomorrow night. Yeah.
That fight's tomorrow night. We have a lot of locals fighting on that card. we want to give some props to that are out there.
I'm excited about Karina's fight.
And
Karina-
I've been watching her since she started back in the day.
Yeah, talk about Karina a little bit. She's one of our favorites too. Karina Herrera.
Yeah.
She's a local, and man, she's really going for it. She's got a pretty well-rounded game, right? She can go either way.
She'll bang. That girl.
Is that what she likes to do?
She's got a heart.
So she'd rather keep it on the feet.
I think
if she goes on the ground, she's gonna be good on the ground. If she stands up, she's gonna be a beast, though.
What is Karina? Has she ever trained here with you guys? How do you know her? Just from the whole scene, backstage scene, and all that, or?
We used to
From
go
the
train in
fights from
Porterville.
Warriors Cage back in the day when they used to do the Gladiator Challenge back in the day before it went to Warriors Cage.
Do you know anything about the opponent that she's fighting, Caroline Gallardo?
I just heard she's pretty tough too. I don't know.
She's
too
not a
much
local,
about
though?
her. Not that I know of. I don't think she's a local.
I don't know who she is. Never met
Yeah,
her.
they're bringing in a lot of guys from other places to fight our locals, which is good for us. I think it's a lot of times people think we're getting set up, but I think it's good for us when these dudes come in from these other areas, don't you?
No, yeah.
This is a different type of a place. So when these guys come in and they hear of a dude coming out of Farmersville, they probably overlook it a lot of the time, I would think.
Well, I think anybody that comes out of the Central Valley.
At first they would. At first they would look at Farmersville like Farmersville. But you know what? It's cool now because now it doesn't matter if we go to LA or Sacramento or Fresno. Now people over there went, okay, oh, you guys are those tough fools from Farmersville. You guys are some tough guys over there. Like, you know, it's cool to be known when you go to other areas now, you know?
Heck yeah, especially coming
Before
from here.
nobody would even know who we were. Like Farmersville, a bunch of farmers over there. Like, no, it's nothing like that.
A lot of game dudes coming out of here. Now this show tomorrow night, there's a few of the fights got canceled for different medical reasons and stuff. Stephen Bollinger versus Vincent Gomez.
Ooh, that's gonna be a good one.
Stephen Bollinger, he's fighting out of
Yeah.
Dethrone, and he trains at Halo as well.
Yeah, Halo too.
Right? That fight's still on, Archie? That's going to be a good fight right there. You guys have been watching that with Steven for a while, right?
Steven's
Both of you
amateurs.
guys?
I've been watching them since the amateurs back in the day. 559.
And how about Vincent Gomez? Do you guys know him as well?
Yeah, a couple fights on the
He's the one that
559.
559, right? He was the
He's
champ
gotta be one of
recently.
He was, Vincent Gomez was he's a former 559 champ.
Camp, yeah.
So I think this is his first pro fight.
I think so.
Into?
I think, yeah.
That's going to be a good one.
Yeah, that's going to be a good fight.
Good brawl. And then we also have AJ Guzman versus Danny Ramirez. Do you know either one of those guys?
No, I don't know.
They might be new to the professional scene as well. What about the main event of that fight? Do you guys know anything about it?
Who's the main event? Do you know?
The card changed quite a bit here.
There's a few fighters that I know that are going to be on that card.
There's a lot of people that don't know that want to see MMA. They're watching on TV, but you're having a good shot right tomorrow night to see some good local action.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so check it out.
The weigh-ins are taking place right now also
Yep, the weigh-ins are taking place right now over where? In Fresno?
at Fresno State at the rec center.
These guys are getting ready to do it tomorrow. What about that feeling, man? How about that feeling? Talk about that for a second. The night before a fight when you're at that weigh-in.
Oh well,
What's going
amateurs,
through your mind?
for amateurs, it's that day.
Oh, you
that
weigh in the same day?
Yeah, the same day you weigh in and you fight the same day. So that day is it's kind of tough because you're just grouchy and irritated and don't want to be talking to nobody. You just want to get over with the weigh-ins and then go eat, and then after that you'll be back to normal. But I mean, the fight is before the fight. It's all it's nervous. I mean, you get nervous and you're just like in the back, like just thinking about everything, you know. But then if you have a good team like I do, like my two coaches right here, I think it's fine. I get fine because I mean they tell me no, you're gonna do fine. You're gonna do fine.
These guys, they seem like they're real good at having the backstage.
Oh yeah, especially the way they. I mean, when I first started, I was not good, but ever since I started training with them, I just got more tougher, stronger, and.
He used to be our kid that would get beat up by everybody. I'm talking about everybody would beat him up.
Yeah, I even got choked out
Round
by a
and
girl.
standing. Yeah, he even got tapped out by one of our girls. We don't need to say no names though, but yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, it happens, man. That's how you learn in this game.
Yeah.
It's the ones who can stick with that are the usually the ones that later on will be real good. Because a lot of, I mean, you've probably seen it happen over and over here. Juan, like dudes come in
I've
here.
seen over 30 fighters come and go.
And what about dudes off the street? I mean, one of the training sessions, it wasn't too long ago. A big old dude came in and he was tatted up and everything. I mean, to the average Joe, the dude looked he was pretty scary looking. And he came in and I seen you rolling with him off to the side, and did he ever come back? It didn't look like that dude would ever come back.
No.
No, we once in a while have guys that come off the streets come in here thinking they're tough and they want to test themselves. Like,
Yeah, one time some guy tried to come in here and bully me.
They had to let him
That
have
was
it?
the wrong decision. Yeah, I didn't.
Hey, okay, so check out this one right here, guys. I know you guys know Paul Elizondo Jr.
yeah, oh
Yeah,
yeah.
that one's
Right?
good.
That's going to be a tremendous fight right there, too. He's fighting Trevor Williams.
He's from Team Henderson, Hendo's team.
Okay, so
Ooh.
Trevor Wells. He's from Dan Henderson's team. So that's going to be a good fight. What do you guys know about Paul?
Oh, Paul's a tough fighter,
And
man.
props to
We've
Paul.
known
We've
since-
had him on the show. We've talked to him and interviewed him.
He's a good fighter. I like Paul. He's real good.
Is he and he's local? Grew up around here?
Yeah, he's a local fighter.
Has
He's a
ever
pretty
given-
well-rounded fighter now. He's gotten a lot better. His game has improved a lot.
Now Paul, he trains at a few different places too, right? Doesn't he train at Halo a little bit? And where else does Paul train?
Well, I met him the first time I met him was I think 2 weeks ago, and I met him at Trifecta, doing some MMA.
So he
sparring.
goes all over the
Yeah,
place.
he's a cool dude. He's really nice and just respectful and
Yeah, we like Paul a lot, man. Props to him and good luck to him.
heck yeah.
And then we have this. Pronounce this for me so I don't murder it. Ignacio. This top one right here. I believe
Ignacio Bahamondes.
this
Versus Ignacio.
Salvador
Becerra.
Becerra.
Sal
You
Becerra.
guys know anything about those two
Is
guys?
that Sal Becerra?
Nah, I don't know them.
I don't think it's
No.
Sal Becerra, I know.
And that's pretty much it. A few of the Brock Diaz fight fell off. That was one I was looking forward to.
Oh yeah, Brock.
Yeah, I
trained with
wanted
him.
to see
Yeah,
Brock.
he was
That's
supposed to fight.
He was
I
going to
think he
fight
was
Joe
supposed to fight the
Lopez.
guy that he was gonna fight the
Lopez.
first time too.
Joel Lopez. You guys know him too?
No, I know Brock.
Yeah,
Joe
Brock's cool.
Lopez.
Yeah, something minor happened, but he'll be back. Brock will be back. We wish you a speedy recovery or whatever it is. There's a lot of medical things that could happen. But yeah, the Combat This show, it's in Fresno Convention Center, guys.
I
Yeah.
think, yeah.
Is that where it's at, Archie?
Same art?
I thought it was
Same
Seymour
Marcel, yeah,
Center.
Seymour
Seymour Center, Fresno, guys. And is it on TV or you have to go there to see it?
It's on TV, that dance.
On the Dan's app,
Dancing.
DAZN,
The Zone.
The Zone.
or if you got one of those Fire Stick things.
Oh, yeah, I got The Zone.
And then Univision, I think, or one of the others.
Oh, yeah. They always show them on the Spanish channels. That's where I watch them all the
Oh,
time.
Access TV, I think they're new on Access TV.
On Access TV too. So if you guys can't get there in person, you might be able to see it online. While we're here, Dan, not only I've thanked you guys before, but man, Dan is the kind of guy that every year during the holidays or times of need, you guys all seem like you've been willing to help kids and help adults. Guys, Christmas is coming and you're throwing a toy drive, right?
Oh,
Is this
yeah.
something that you do every year?
It's something we've been doing for about 11 years now.
So you guys notice the toys here, it's coming up and it's for Christmas?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that toy drive, Dan, because that's another thing that unfortunate kids around here and maybe from all over the area. How does this work?
I started this about 11 years ago at my old spot, and when I was just in there, you know what, because there was a couple kids that I would give gifts to every year, and I was like, you know what, maybe I could help out more kids, you know, and then I just brought it up. I came first to my brother, to my compa, I brought it up, and I was like, you know what, I want to do a toy drive, let's do it. I mean, we got nothing to lose, we can get a few toys, we give them out to a couple kids, you know, and then next thing you know, it started growing and growing every year, and last year we were able to hand out over 300 toys. We had a line all the way down to almost to the what is it called? Post office. So we had people just standing there, and yeah, we had a big crowd, and it got so big that the city this year was like, well, you know what? A couple of my friends from the city were like, you could use the Boys and Girls Club this year. So
That's where it's going to go down this year?
This year, everything goes right.
Where's
We're
that
holding
at?
it. It's on Avery Street.
On Avey Street here in
Avery,
Fresno?
Ash.
An Ash, corner of Ash.
Ash and Avery.
Now, we got a lot of people out there and a lot of friends, and the word's starting to spread more and more, and all of us are trying to get it out there, all the guys that we know. Give the people a little information. If you guys want to do something cool, it doesn't have to be nothing crazy, but if you want to help one of these kids out and maybe donate something, how can they get involved?
Yeah, if anybody wants to make a donation, they could drop off the toys here at a gym located at 432 Farmersville Boulevard, Suite C, or they could drop it off at Marisco's On Chow Restaurant at 447 Farmersville Boulevard, right across the street from the gym. They could drop it off here, but we're also going to be taking jackets, sweaters, and blankets if anybody would like to donate. also. So we're going to be doing a little bit of everything.
Now,
this
those
year.
jackets, blankets, and sweaters, they can be used, washed and used, or preferably new? Either
They
or?
could be either or. As long as they're in
Okay,
good
either or.
condition, we'll take, because we're going to be handing out to, there's some unfortunate families that need help, so we're going to try to help out as
That's-
many families as we can this year.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about right there. That's we like to get behind that stuff 100%. I maybe not just myself, but maybe you guys. A lot of people that we know, we grew up and our parents were working hard, and we didn't have a lot of money. Would have loved to get some of those sweaters and stuff. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of you guys out there that have the closets full of old stuff. It may be old to you. It's not old to somebody that needs a jacket.
Yeah.
That's for sure. So again, what is the date of the toy drive? Is it the day before Christmas?
The actual event will be held December 24th at the Boys and Girls Club. Approximately around 10 a.m. we'll be starting it, but I'll be actually posting it on Facebook, but for sure it'll be December 24th, anywhere between 10 and 11 a.m. that day. And we'll be taking stuff all the way till that day, till the early morning that day on the 24th. So starting today and moving forward to that day, if anybody wants to donate, bring it by, drop them off.
That's what's happening, guys. We do want to get some donations. You guys can hit me up, Tom Owens, Danny, Juan, or Archie Tovar, the producer of the podcast. So, moving right along, guys, we got a lot of things coming up. The fight tomorrow, and then what I would like to talk about a little more is the Fight to Win Jiu-Jitsu tournament that's coming up. What do we got? 2 weeks from now? A little less than 2 weeks from now, we're going to have Seth Daniels' professional Fight to Win Jiu-Jitsu show, which is also in Fresno, right? Now, is that the Seymour Center or is it the Convention Center? I think it's at the Convention Center, guys, but you can find out online. Now, this show, guys, we have a lot of locals, a lot of the local coaches. I know you guys probably know all these guys too, that are getting out there and they're putting it on the line and they're competing in this jiu-jitsu show. And not only are they doing it for the competition that they're getting and the experience, this show is just like the MMA shows. This show's starting to give people like a good little view of what we're doing. You know what I mean? It's the straight grappling and jiu-jitsu really gives you a sense of what's going on when people hit the ground. Because in MMA, if you don't know any better, you see the fight hit the ground, and I mean, there's a lot of things going on. But when you're in that straight grappling tournament like that, and you're focusing on submissions, wrestling, and all that together, it's a whole different thing. So I'd like to give the people a little bit of info on the card, on the guys we have going, and maybe you guys can talk about some of these guys. We got a lot of local guys that are going to be competing that night. So we have, you guys know the Cisneros brothers, right? Mm-hmm. Out of Elite Team.
Those kids are good.
Those kids are
real good.
Now we got Josh and Jacob Cisneros. They're going to be competing. How have you guys seen those kids compete for a while?
I heard about them.
Yeah,
Do they do MMA
I've
as well?
seen
or
a couple of their matches. Those kids are young little beasts, man. They're strong in the jiu-jitsu game.
And right now, I believe, am I right, Archie, Josh Cisneros has a belt, right? For the gi, 145.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, Josh Cisneros, he's the brown belt 145 gi champion for Fight to Win right now, and he's going against a real skillful guy, Keith Krikorian. I'm probably butchering your name, Keith, but that's going to be a good one. Both of these guys the matches are getting more well-rounded, and now these kids people are starting to know who they are, and they can study them. They can get online and study them. So that's going to be a real good one. We got. Yep, this is a good one right here. This is going to be one of my favorite fights of the night. It's Mark Dela Cruz from here in Visalia, California. He's the teacher and instructor at Vitruvian Martial Arts. He's a black belt under Daniel Camarillo. And then we have him going against Angel Lopez. You guys know Angel.
Yeah, Angel.
He's the head professor and the teacher over there at Halo Jiu-Jitsu. And he's incorporated with Luis Speedy Gonzalez and Tinguina from down south. This is going to be a fun match because these two dudes, they'll respect each other when they go out there. This is going to be a super respectful match. It'll be a gentleman's match, but at the same time, they're going to be both trying to choke each other and get each other's arm or whatever the deal may be. We've known Mark. I mean, our roots go way back with me and Danny and like the town scene and stuff, but way back in the day, like Mark, he was a bouncer and
Mark
this
was
and
one of
that.
my bouncers back in the day.
Talk a little bit about
friends.
Mark, because Mark is a completely different person than what he used to be.
Back then, he was already doing jiu-jitsu, and then he would come straight to work after that, and he was one of my good bouncers back in the day. He was a good guy, and he's grown a lot since then. He's kept competing, and now he's where he's at because he stayed dedicated to the sport, you know.
Mark has never walked. He's never walked away from it from back in the beginning roots of this jiu-jitsu and the scene around here. He's kind of always been in the mix. Mark has changed a whole lot, and I like to talk about these guys because Mark was a part of a group that was the original foundation of jiu-jitsu in Visalia for sure. Because when jiu-jitsu started spreading in Visalia, there was really no schools. There was little garages here and there. There was backyards like you were talking about. There wasn't too many academies, and so yeah, Mark has stuck with it. He's gotten highly proficient. He's got a good team. He's got a family, people that get behind him. I respect Mark a lot, and his opponent I really respect too. Like that's why both these guys, I'm really excited to see this one. Angel Lopez from Fresno, California. Do you guys know Angel pretty good? This guy, I'm super impressed with Angel. We've had him on the show here, and I think him and one of his students came and rolled with us a little bit right here in this gym right here. He came and choked me a little bit. Angel, I almost felt like I was meant to meet that guy in a way. Just the love that he has for jiu-jitsu, and it seemed like me and him had a lot in common. And when you see Angel too, somebody might look at Angel on the street and you would never ever think that this guy is the jiu-jitsu professor that he is. Angel travels all over the world, man. Every time I see Angel on Facebook, he's either in Jerusalem or Japan or Tokyo. He's always traveling with this jiu-jitsu lifestyle, and it really is a lifestyle. Jiu-jitsu, when you get into it, some people fall in love with it, man. And this guy, just like Mark, they both really love jiu-jitsu, and man, it's going to be a real good match. That match is going to be fire. Even if you don't understand the jiu-jitsu game, it's going to be real interesting to watch that. What do you think about when you get two guys like that together?
I mean, it's like to me, it's like a super fight, you know. It's like, I think it's going to get both people's fans excited, you know. It's going to be like the excitement of a Super Bowl, and two people, you know, have a lot of big following, you know. They get excited about a match like that.
There's definitely going to be some excitement in that crowd for sure. Now, there's a lot of other locals that are going for it. A couple to name that I would like to name because the matches are going to be good. We have, from Elite, there's quite a few good guys. So I like to mention everybody, all the different schools that are here, especially if you're putting work in. And there's no denying that Elite team in Visalia, they put in a lot of work in jiu-jitsu. And this Seth Daniels, I'm sure he loves it that they get into this tournament. They got 3 or 4 real good guys that are competing. For one, the head coach, Tom Knox, from out of Visalia, California. He's been in the jiu-jitsu local scene as far as we go back, right? Tom's always been around. Not so much MMA, but definitely in the jiu-jitsu scene. Now, Tom, is he undefeated in fight to win? I haven't seen him lose in there. Yeah, he goes in there with some serious skill and technique, and he's got a big following as well. This time he's fighting a real good guy too. I did a little research on this guy earlier, and he's fighting a pretty crafty guy, and I believe they're friends too. They know each other, so it's going to be a respectful match. And Andre Maneco Liete, is that how you pronounce it? Portuguese, Liete? Am I saying that right?
I would say Liete, yeah.
That's going to be another good one, guys. When these two guys go out there, it's going to be nothing but respect, and it's going to be like a ball of yarn when you get two guys like this that are going at it, and they both kind of understand each other's game. Both guys have footage out there, so plus they know one another. So you get a match like that, I almost think like if you and Martin had a match, two friends, like it's a respectful thing, and you know each other, and that can make even a better match sometimes.
Oh yeah, if they're two friends, it's gonna be like a fun roll.
These two are going to go at it for sure. I don't know if it'll be fun, but it's definitely going to be interesting. Then another one I would like to talk about, I think this is going to be a real good match, is the younger brother, Jacob Cisneros. Okay, Josh's younger brother. I think he's the middle brother. He's going in there, and this kid, it's just amazing when I watch these brothers. It's like the younger they get, the more evolved they get. It seems it's like it's the next model that's coming out. And these younger ones are really something. And when I watch these guys train, and I see clips of it, and I see them go in tournaments, man, I'm really damn impressed. I'm really impressed from my age, what it looked like when I was doing it, to what these kids are doing now. You probably see it like in wrestling. these young kids, man, they pick things up quicker, don't you think?
Yeah.
This kid, he is really something. Jacob Cisneros. He's fighting another really, really talented kid, Marcus Mendez. Now, this guy too, that's going to be a fight to watch. And a lot of these fights, these jiu-jitsu matches, like, you can't really blink or turn away because some of them are over like that. As soon as they hit the mat, you see somebody going to sleep or you see somebody getting arm locked. It's rare in the submission only form, which Fight to Win does. It's only submissions. So you get guys that are really going for it. They're not going for a point game. When you go out there with just submission only, you're really trying to tap the guy. So don't blink on these guys. What about, you guys know Cliff Sabro? He's one of the instructors at Elite. Real nice guy. He's fighting Javier Gomez. That's going to be really good. And then we got Bobby Davidson. Bobby's a good friend. He's been around the grappling game and the whole MMA since we started too. So he's going to be out there too, going against Victor Cervantes. So yes, that's going to be good. What else do we got here, guys? Is there anything else that you could talk about or tell us about the gym for people that want to come in? Because I know a lot of times I've been here and I'll see people come through the door and they might look or watch, but they kind of get intimidated. What do you do when you see guys like that? Because I know you always want to get new people in here.
Oh yeah, just want everybody to know our doors are open to anybody. You know, we don't turn anybody away. And if you have $1, you got a penny in your pocket, it doesn't matter. We're not going to turn you away. You know, this is more of a family atmosphere. We all work with each other. You know, everybody here has their own qualities, their own strength, and their fight games. So you know, everybody learns from everybody here. So, I mean,
and it seems like there's what I've noticed at this gym since I've known you guys. People come and go, but you always have like a boxing coach. You'll have like a guy that does Muay Thai. You have a guy like Juan that teaches wrestling, and you're always incorporating different coaches. Juan, I really love what you do every year with these kids, because a lot of kids, when they get into wrestling or something, they can't afford the shoes. The parents can't afford the travel. You put a lot of time into these kids. Tell us a little bit about your wrestling program, because I think that's one of the biggest things that I see come out of this club is all the kids that flock to this program. Tell us a little bit more about the wrestling program and how people can come if you want to get your kid in with some tough kids in wrestling.
Yeah, we're going to be starting our wrestling program in the first week of December. Our first match, our freestyle match, is usually the end of February, beginning of March. So we give the kids about 3 months of cardio and get them up to par on what they need to know about wrestling, and they'll be at their first tournament. If they show up to practice and if they try, we won't turn them down. They'll be at the first tournament wrestling. We have kids that come and they just want to mess around. And
what do you do with those kids like that? They just don't last? Was that what it comes down to?
If they don't, usually they won't last. If they keep on showing up and they keep on acting like that, then we'll have them go on if anything, we'll have them go in the middle of the mat, and then we'll put a kid against him. As soon as that kid's done, we'll send another kid against him. As soon as that kid's done,
little Iron Man?
Yeah, little Iron Man is when that kid can't take it no more. We'll send a girl in there to finish him off.
we got some
Teach
tough
him
girls.
a lesson. Yeah.
Hey,
some
that
tough
girl
girls.
the other day when I was here, we were doing some jiu-jitsu. She was manhandling a couple of the dudes. What was that young lady's name?
I think you're talking about
The wrestler?
Amy, or is it
Brianna.
She was here in the morning.
Brianna. Oh, Brenda.
Brenda?
Oh, Brenda.
Okay,
Is it
yeah, Brenda.
or-
Props out to Brenda. Yeah, you guys got a lot of tough people. When the wrestling comes around, like a lot of these kids, I mentioned, they can't afford the shoes and stuff like that, right? What do you guys do about that?
Well,
fundraisers.
yeah, we have fundraisers. Usually we have sponsors. We have a good sponsor from VF that gives us a good check that pretty much pays for all the kids' wrestling cards. Then we have local places like Sequoia Apparel in Exeter, Glenn's Mini Storage here in Farmersville, Agwag out of Lindsay, Mark Stutzman Citrus out of Lindsay, Central Valley Community Bank. They all donate money to help us with the kids. So with that, usually I'll go on eBay and look up shoes, like used shoes if anything, and we'll purchase something like that. And if the singlets come with the club membership, which is no charge. Uniforms, everything's no charge, and if you come with shoes, it's good. But if you guys need them, we'll take care of the kids any ways possible, even if they need rides to practice. I have a bunch of kids coming from Visalia, usually out of Valley Oak Golden West, and I'll park at a certain spot, and at 4 o'clock all them kids will meet at the same spot, and we'll load the cars. Even if I have to bring 2 cars, 3 cars, we'll all wait there, and they'll all load in the car, and we'll bring them to practice, and then take them home.
Do you ever get like other parents that may have their kids on a different team that just want to get the tough rules that'll come out here and join you guys?
Yeah, usually they'll go practice at a different team, and half of the practices they'll be there, and the other half they'll come here.
That's good. There's another guy here that I want to get in, guys. Archie, make sure that we can all fit in. Another student of the gym and a good friend of ours, Anthony Torres. Please come up here.
I was going to say bring him in because he's going to help us out this year with the wrestling program also.
And not only that, this guy's been around since the beginning, and he's always been real helpful. So let's scoot this down a little bit. And
sit on your lap, Danny.
Over and I'll bring that chair in. So you guys come in here, brother.
You good, John?
Good. So are we all in it at this point? Make sure we're all on the shot here. Yeah? Don't cut out my handsome self. So guys, I mentioned there's real dedicated people that have been here throughout the journey here, and there's guys that have kept their loyalty even if they've gone other places to box or to wrestle or whatever their life journey has brought upon. Anthony Torres you're one of the first guys that I met when I first came out here from way back in the day, and it seemed like you've always been involved with this gym some way or another. I met you, I think you were doing MMA was when I first came across with you. Talk a little bit about how it was for you when you met Danny and Juan and these guys, and what brought you into this environment here.
Well, the way I started
Come a little closer here.
The way I started was pretty much out of my own backyard. Like, I pretty much found out about the 559 fights, and then I asked Jeremy Luchau to get me some tickets, and I sold them out of my house, and I just pretty much practiced out of my backyard. And then my second fight, the guys that I hired to help me out, they kind of pushed me. They kind of pushed my ego a little too much, and I learned the hard way that I needed cardio. And this guy right here invited me over to the gym. Well, before I was even part of it, he invited me into the gym and let us use a little piece of the mat, and I was very grateful. Like, then they took me under their wing, and Pato, he was actually one of the first guys I met at Samurai Dojo back in the day whenever I first started. And he's pretty much guided me throughout my career. I mean, I've learned a lot of my wrestling background and stuff from Pato. So, I mean,
back then, when we were at Samurai, we had probably the strongest team in the valley. We had Kenny Into,
Yep.
Jose Alteco the Cat, Mark De La Cruz, Michael Martinez, Michael Craddock, Chris Tangleman, Chris Bolia, which fought at Glory Kickboxing, and
all those guys he just mentioned right there, those are OGs in this area. And if you're a local guy and you don't know who those guys are, do a little research, because under that one roof, you're damn right. That was one of the toughest groups of dudes ever that are still, all of them are still in the game some way or another. Pretty much everybody you just mentioned right there.
Mark was the jiu-jitsu instructor, and the club was the Shark Tank back then.
Now, was this at Samurai Dojo?
At Samurai, yeah.
And talk a little bit about Harper, right?
Scott Harper, yeah.
Scott Harper, he's another OG guy that, an old school traditional martial artist like Kaji Kimbo and Kimbo and things like that. But he got behind
Kimbo,
you guys
yeah.
though, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I was there, but my goal was to fight out of Farmersville. And I always wanted to fight out of Farmersville. I was fighting out of Exeter for a bit, and my first fight, I seen Danny there. A week later, I told him I wanted to train with him. Oh, he ignored me for about a good 2-3 months. I don't know what it was. Maybe he thought I was a knucklehead. But wherever I went, I carried my gym bag with me in my truck, and I would always pass by Danny's house because I knew they were training in the backyard. And one day I seen them, the people coming out of the backyard to go on the run, and I pulled over, and I asked Danny, "Can I train?" He said, "Well, you got your stuff?" And I had everything in my trunk, and I never left since. Been here 11 years.
Had
I
you
remember
known
that
Danny?
day.
Had
I
you known
remember
Danny already for a while?
Yeah,
before
I
you
know
started?
Danny since I was a kid.
From,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, since he was a little kid.
Now you strike me as the kind of guy that might have gotten a few street fights. when
Oh
you were
no,
younger.
No, yeah, like
Pato, he's a good guy. He's
No,
come
I know
a long
he's-
way.
I know
he's
he's
grown
a
up.
good guy.
He's,
I fought all the time. The
You fought all the
streets.
time, yeah.
I know. I've known him since he was a little kid.
Hey man, that's a part of the journey. That's why you are the person that you are today. And we all make those mistakes. And I'm sure some of them were mistakes, and some of them you're probably just protecting yourself, or maybe a friend
I
or
would say 80% of all my fights in the street were because I was fighting because someone was messing with my friend. That's how
respect
most
that.
of it was. Like, they were scared, and I would fight for them.
From that day when
Yeah.
he showed up in the backyard, I was like, oh, this guy's serious. And since then, we hit it off. And
Probably not
it's
the
like
funnest sparring
It's
partner.
like my brother, man. He's like my family. You know, this guy. I mean,
I know you guys are definitely like a family. That's what I always tell people, and it always draws me back to this. It's not some big, crazy, fancy building with all kinds of people and kids running around. It's a legit little family. Talk about it a little bit, because man, I brought you in here because since I've known the KO, like you were a real big part of it, and you might have lost a few fights, but didn't he build up a pretty good record, right?
yeah, he won the Born to Fight 125-pound title. He won the
135 fight.
135 title, and
What did you guys think? Did you
he was
know
ranked
Anthony
in California
from way back
number
in
2 for a while.
Did you know him as a kid?
Chris Ronquillo has a question for Anthony, actually. Talking about MMA. And he goes, how was the transition, Anthony, to go from MMA to boxing, and what you gained from MMA?
Honestly, it was a lot. It was a lot rougher than what I thought. I mean, I got my ass kicked in my first boxing fight. Luckily, Danny he got to go watch it. I mean, but it wasn't really an easy transition because I didn't have any background in boxing at first. I mean, like I was strictly wrestling.
How
And
bad
then-
did you want to take the guy down when you were in there?
Well, it wasn't the fact of trying to take him down. It was what I was afraid to clinch because I thought I didn't really know the rules and stuff. So I just wanted to punch, and going into a brawl with a brawler is not a good idea. But yeah, I learned quite a bit. I did a couple boxing, and then yeah, but my MMA, that's what really rounded me out. That was where Pato came in, because he taught me how to transition my wrestling from school wrestling into MMA wrestling, and that was like one of the saving graces for me throughout my career.
I noticed you had really, really good wrestling in your MMA fights. This way. I got a question for Chris, if Chris is watching live out there. We talked a little bit about Chris earlier, and I remember from the very first time I ever fought up in Porterville is when I met Chris that day. And Chris has been around for all your guys' the journey that we've been through, that these guys have been through. Chris, what did you think when you seen this little camp coming out of Farmersville, California, and these guys that just continue to get in there? If you get back to us, Chris, let us know, okay? Let us know. So, Anthony, you help Juan with the wrestling program?
Yeah, I tried to help out. Last year, it kind of got away from me because of my job and everything, but for the most part, I try to help out as much as I can. Pato has a really good thing going on here, and I love to support it any way I can. Every year, like, he adds more and more to it, and it's pretty fun to watch, man. I've been around since the beginning, and
Our 8th year.
he built it. We had one kid to start.
Yeah,
and it built to up to 30 kids
30
with
kids.
the first season.
Yeah, our first year ever doing KO Kids, it was with me and Tommy Thompson, and Anthony and Gary helped us club or charter the wrestling club, and we were at KO Impact for 2 years, and Anthony left. Then we went to KO Kids for 1 more year, then Tommy left, and me and Anthony have been doing it the last 5 years. And when it was just me, I made the program a 100% free program, and we've been doing good since then.
Now, when you guys see like today's day and age, with all these kids are just on cell phones, you know what I mean? They're on cell phones or they're on video games. And you don't see too much physical activity. How important you think is it for a kid to get into wrestling or jiu-jitsu or something like that? Especially wrestling. I think wrestling is definitely one of the toughest sports I've seen as a one-on-one sport, right?
Yeah, but it's very structured. I mean, for me, it helped me keep my butt in line throughout school. Like, it made me want to have the right grades, you know what I mean, to be able to participate. And then you got to balance your work at school from your work on the mat. And then on top of that, you got to still do your road work. So you kind of, it makes you strong-minded. I mean, I think it's a good confidence builder, especially for kids that may be bullied or, picked on in a way.
If you see a 14-year-old kid that's wrestled all his life and you see a regular kid that just is on his phone and
It's a complete
eats hot
difference.
Cheetos, you see the complete difference in everything, the way they walk, the way they
The confidence.
confidence and everything.
the character, the
Yeah.
confidence.
I say it makes men out of kids real early.
Yeah, it does teach you how to grow up.
Right quick. So the
Mhm.
grades,
Right quick.
when you guys, did you fall in love with wrestling when you were that young? Or to the point that you wanted to keep your grades up?
When I was in high school, I was if you know my past, I was a knucklehead, and most of the time, like I wrestled my freshman year, and I did good. I think I was like 19-7. My sophomore year, I ended up getting shot twice, so I was out for that season. My junior year, I slacked that off, and when I was ready to get it going, my senior year, my very first match, I practiced and everything. We're ready to go, and right before we went, they called me to the side and said your grades weren't there, and they
What grade
cut
was
me
this?
my senior year.
And so you're in wrestling, ready to go, and they came up to you. So what happens then? What happens next?
I was done for the season.
That was it, huh?
Yeah, I broke my heart, and
I'll
to
bet.
this day now, it's still like I messed it up. So
That's
with my
crazy.
son, I tell him, other kids that wrestle for us too, they're going down the same road that I was going, and I see you gonna wrestle, and they, no, I'm not gonna wrestle. I go, you know what? I was the same way you were, and till this day, I regret not wrestling in high school.
That's very admirable, bro.
Yeah.
Like I really, really respect that.
My first year wrestling, I was in 8th grade, and I ended up placing 5th in state for collegiate, and I wanted to test myself, so I went to freestyle, and I bumped up a weight class, went to the state tournament, and I ended up placing 5th again and making the collegiate wrestling team.
So there's kids out there that are listening right now that are maybe on that rocky road going up and down. What, after that kind of experience, what could you tell a kid out there? Because we can't go back and change what we did, but we did learn a lot of lessons. So
Yeah,
what could you tell a kid out there to get a point across?
You only go to high school one time. You can't decide when you're 20, oh, I want to do wrestling now. It's too late. So just stick to wrestling. You got to do good in school. If not, then you're going to have a hard time. Your grades is what matters.
I wish I could go back, man. I
Yeah.
wish I could go back and do that. You can't go back, though. You can't go back, guys. To my nieces and nephews and friends and family and kids out there, I'd say the same thing, man. When you get older, you reflect and you look back, and you could think of all the stuff that you wanted to do, but we're already here. But what we can do is we can pass on this knowledge to young kids. And each one of you guys here, you guys are in here, and it doesn't matter who comes in. I've seen each one of you guys work with people, and you didn't even know me, and you guys are willing to work with me. And I've seen kids come off the street. A couple guys the other day that came in, and that one kid, he was kind of real nervous, just staying off to the side. But the more we were talking, we were training, he was like, man, this is actually pretty comfortable, right? I don't remember his name. But by the end of it, he did, in the beginning, he didn't want to get in when we started rolling around and stuff, or training the jiu-jitsu. But after, like I said, he's seen how cool everybody was, and at the end of the class, he was in there with us. So I want to just thank you guys again for what you do. I can't say enough about it. I really have a lot of respect for you guys, and I really appreciate you guys letting me come and go as I have. You know what I mean? I haven't been here the whole time straight through, but every time I come back, you guys have always been welcoming to me. I hope you guys keep teaching these kids and helping people off the street, and I hope people out there that are on the street or in your wherever you're at right now, on the computer at home, whatever, you might watch this down the road, come over here and check this place out. Come by, just say hello, see what's going on here. If you want to donate for the toy drive, I think it's a real important thing. Super good thing for these guys to do. Anybody's welcome to get in on it. And anything else you guys got? Would you guys like to thank some sponsors or anything like that, or give a shout out to anybody?
Yeah, I want to give a couple of shout outs. I want to say thanks to John Alvarez, who joined my toy committee team this year, and Robert Torres, Orlando Torres, and I have a couple guys from Valley Pure and from Tandem Gardens that will be helping me out this year with the toy drive. They've been real helpful and they're really about the kids also, man. And last year they gave me a good hand with the toy drive also. And I also have Ruben from Knights of Columbus who'll be helping me out this year. And I'm looking forward to setting up meetings with them pretty soon because they really want to help out the program too. So I'm looking forward to seeing what our future has for us and the kids, you know. So with that said, I just want to invite everybody again to our toy drive December 24th, which will be held at the Boys at Girls Club, approximately around 10 a.m. Come join us. It's going to be a community event. We're going to have food, drinks, snacks, music. We're also going to do an award ceremony today. We're going to honor a couple of people here from the community and a couple of businesses in the community. So that'll be a fun, family-filled evening. And so come join us.
You guys hear it right here. Farmersville, California, Team KO. You mentioned real quick before we go off, because I see these people being a huge sponsor for us. Valley Pure. The Valley Pure is the dispensary that opened here in Farmersville, California. Not only is it a dispensary, but these guys, it seem like they're really down to help. I've seen what the community in Woodlake has seemed like it changed pretty good in a short time. A lot of money is going into the town. I have a feeling that Farmersville is going to grow pretty quick, and that some of the money is going to go in the town, right?
Farmersville's growing. There's a lot of stuff coming up in the future. A lot of new business coming in. A lot of new constructions going to be coming in. There's a lot of stuff happening with the next 2 years. So
I feel like you guys are. I just keep seeing it over and over in my head that you guys are going to end up in a bigger spot and keep this ball rolling. And I hope that does happen. And once again, Chris Ronquillo, get well soon, my brother. We really miss you on the show. Chris, man, goes back to the beginning of this thing, and I'm really honored and blessed that Chris introduced me to Archie, and Chris brought me in on the show. And just with that, guys, we want to say good night. Tune into the podcast next time, and we love you guys.
Chris did reply, he said he's proud of what you keep the good work.
Awesome. All right, Chris. Good to hear from you, Chris. Get better, bud.
All right, guys. Thanks again for letting us into school, guys. I really appreciate it. Thanks for getting on and talking a little bit.
No problem. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
That was good.
I was not prepared to go home. That's all right. I hate being in front of town.
Yeah, that's good.
Chelsea, you too, man. And I meant every word I said, dude.
We forgot to set the little chair for you, Anthony.
Thank you, dude.
Thank you.